This is awesome.
This is my Tele Thinline that I recently refinished. And I got this neck of some gentleman of the Facebook Marketplace. He told me this is probably fake. This is probably not a real fender neck. But I got it for a good price. It's actually a pretty nice neck, feels good. But I have an issue here with this, with the height of the nut. This is now, I don't have any, I didn't measure it. But I can tell when I'm playing it, it's way too high. It's almost like a lap steel or something. And you can't possibly finger any chords here without hitting it out of tune. So I loosened the strings already. It's not in the video. I'm gonna try to knock this out. I hope it's not glued in too hard. And then see if I can either file it down or maybe get a replacement. So I hope I can push the nut just out like this. There it comes. See, you just push it out of the groove here, and just keep tapping with the hammer and a screwdriver, and just push out to the side. And then I'll figure out if I can either sand it down or maybe get a replacement. I've been eyeing like a roller nut or something. There it is. I don't know if this is gonna work. I'm just gonna try to sand it down by hand. I don't think it's gonna work. This is 220 grit here. But one can try. I don't even own a caliper at this moment, can't really measure. But I'm gonna try to wing it. If I screw this up, a new saddle doesn't cost a fortune. Sorry, a new nut. And I'm still thinking about maybe an LSR roller nut or something. Yeah, I don't know how to sand this where I know it's even. I'm not sure how to sand this by hand without wedging it down on one side by just uneven pressure. And so on. I get back when I have any results. So I've kept sanding for not 20 minutes. And you can see it's still too high. The spacing between the string and the fretboard is too much. I use my pick there for reference, and the pick should just fit exactly in the gap. Right now it's still too high, so I keep sanding some more. Okay, so here's the result of my sanding down the nut here yesterday. So you saw that a little earlier. I just took a piece of sanding paper and sanded off the bottom of the nut that was too tall. And my reference, because I don't have any caliper or anything here, my reference was my Strat here that has a pretty much perfect neck for my preferences at least. And what I compared it to was my picks. Coincidentally, this Dunlop Jazz 3 here is kind of exactly the space that I have here at the first fret between my E strings and the fretboard. So I sanded until I reached that, and now I have a proper string height. The neck is very straight. I don't have this weird this weird effect anymore when your nut is too high. You can't play any chords here in the lower registers, because when you press down to the frets, you're already pressing it out of tune. I just ran to Kroger and get a battery for my EMGs here, because I had an old one in here. And now let's see what's what. All right, in tune. Now let's crank up the amp.